Hey guys, Kevin Ismail for Big Brother 17, episode 38. Of course, usually I would do weekly reviews of Big Brother, but this was a week's worth of Big Brother in one episode because, of course, we had the episode last week, and I reviewed, if you guys are wondering where your reviews of, last night's episode and Sunday night's episode, I reviewed it last night, so you guys can check that out. And I was looking forward to this episode. I really was. I was very interested in seeing who the final three would be, because this is it, guys. This is where we know who the final three is going to be. Who has that chance of winning the money? Who has the chance of, being the winner of Big Brother 17? And this was really it, and I was definitely very interested in seeing who they would have to get out for the final three to be the final three. And I was very interested in seeing what was going to happen there. And I have to say that while I think it was a very good move what Vanessa did, what it did end up happening in this episode, what played out, was a good move. But I do wish I could have seen this played out a bit differently. But I still thought it was a very entertaining episode, and I am very hyped up for finale night. I really can't wait to see what happens. I haven't been this excited for a Big Brother finale in a while. I really haven't, guys. I'm honestly really looking forward to seeing how the finale turns out. But let's get into this episode. There's a lot to talk about, as usual. First of all, Liz is obviously heartbroken over Austin leaving, which is understandable because she had Austin and then Julia leave in, 2 weeks, and that's obviously very hard for her, and you can see how hard that was. So I'm fine with that. What I'm not okay with is Vanessa constantly crying over Austin. She's crying over Austin, saying that she really did care about him and that she's sorry what happened. But I'm just thinking, Vanessa, you were the one that evicted him. You clearly had something against him, and you clearly wanted to get rid of him. So why are you making it seem like you are upset that he's gone when you got rid of him? I'm sorry you can't have everyone, I'm sorry that everyone left in the house was your friend. You had to get rid of someone. Austin was probably the best person to get rid of, and she's crying, and it's ridiculous. This is the one thing that I definitely am not going to miss this season. That's Vanessa crying every 5 seconds. I literally tweeted on Twitter, can Vanessa go 5 minutes without crying? Here's a fun drinking game you guys can play. And obviously, I can't drink because I'm 17. I can't do that, because it's illegal. But, here's a fun drinking game. Take a drink every time Vanessa cries. You'll probably be passed out drunk by the end of the episode, because she cries at least, I'd say, maybe 6 times an episode. I mean, I saw her cry a lot during this episode. It was pretty fucking crazy how many times she cried. But that's what happens there. I did like seeing Vanessa playing both sides, because that honestly is what you need to do at this point. When you have 4 people left, you kind of have to just appeal to everyone so that way you can stay and that you have the best chance of getting to that final 3. And I think Vanessa was probably the one person that did that the best, because what she does is she goes to Liz and says, alright, I'm going to ally with you. And even though Liz really doesn't want to ally with Vanessa and really does not like her very much, she decides, you know what, I really have no choice. I got to ally with Vanessa, and that's what happens there. However, at the same time, she makes a deal with Johnny Mac that she will make a fake Final 2 with him, which you can tell is fake. Johnny Mac does not really plan on taking this very far. He just kind of thinks of this as him getting closer to that Final 3, and that obviously is what he wants to do here. I was a bit disappointed in Johnny Mac, but honestly, at this point, we're down to Final 4. I didn't think there was much he could do. He didn't win HOH, so I can understand why he didn't do too much. He is also upset that he didn't win in HOH, which is too bad, but you know what? I say you don't have to be a memorable Big Brother player to win an HOH. You have to be a memorable Big Brother player for being a really fun player and someone that was willing to make big moves. Johnny Mac, I think, would have been willing to make big moves. He just never had that opportunity to. He was going to win that HOH, and if he would have won, he would still be in the house, obviously, and this would have been probably a much different episode. He probably would have gone at Vanessa if he had to. But that's not what happened. Obviously, Steve wins HOH, as we know. And Steve is pretty flabbergasted because obviously he meant to put 6,000 and he put 600. Now, some people are saying this is bullshit, but you know what? I think he's telling the truth. I wouldn't say that that's false. I think he is telling the truth there. It doesn't seem it's not the most plausible thing that Steve has said, but honestly, there haven't been many things that Steve has said that have been that plausible, so I'm not surprised that Steve would say something like that. So Then we see he nominates Johnny Mac and Vanessa, which I was very surprised about. I was surprised that nobody is nominating Liz, mainly because Liz is a competition beast. She is. She has won a lot. I think she's won more than Vanessa. If I'm thinking of that correctly, let's see. Vanessa's won. Vanessa, I think they won this equal amount of HOHs. I'm trying to think. I don't know. But Liz is still a competition beast, and I would think that Steve would want to put Liz and Vanessa up. That probably would have been the best thing to do here, and that's not what he does. He doesn't put up Liz and Vanessa. He puts up Johnny Mac and Vanessa, which, fine, I understand there's 3 people left in the house, not really much you can do. But me personally, I probably would have gotten rid of Liz and Vanessa because Johnny Mac, I think, just has a better chance of taking him farther to that game. However, at this point, it's not about who we're going to take farther. It's who am I going to win against. That's really what it comes down to. And I think Vanessa would hands down win over Liz. I mean, Liz is not very smart. It's hard to take her seriously. It really is. Johnny Mac as well. I think if Vanessa took Johnny Mac to final 3, I don't know if she went over him, though. I honestly don't know, because she's not very well liked by a lot of the jury, which we'll get into that jury segment, but thought that was interesting. We did not get to see Steve's meltdown, which I think is hilarious. I mean, he was freaking out over what happened with the POV, which I'll get to. But let's get to the jury, which this was a pretty fun segment. I like seeing the jury. It seemed like they're much more, they now are acting like a jury. They're not just acting like people on vacation, because obviously now they know that they have to come up with the winner and that they have to decide who's going to win. Julia comes in, they're obviously shocked, and I love when Meg was talking about how they shouldn't got rid of Julia, and she's like, I know, I shouldn't be talking, because she knows she wasn't a very good player. But again, like I've said, the thing I love about Meg is that even though she was not a very good player, and that she really won nothing, and that I don't really think there's anything that's special about her, she was just very fun to watch, and she was just a really fun girl, really. I think that really is what it came down to, that she was a fun player to watch, and that's why I think this season is going to be so memorable, because there were so many fun, memorable players. You know, even if they weren't the best strategic, they were very fun to watch, and they all seemed like relatively, really fun people, a lot of them. Not all of them, but a lot of them, definitely. A lot of names come to mind, from this season, definitely. So, Austin comes in the house, no shoes on. Austin comes in the jury house, he has no shoes on, and it's ridiculous. But here's my thing. Austin did not have a bag, he didn't have shoes, so I'm pretty sure that he's not going to be able to wear shoes for the rest of the season now. I'm calling it now. He's going to show up at finale night, and he's not going to have any shoes on. I'm calling that now. I mean, if I get that right, I don't know what I'm going to do, but that could definitely happen. And just the fact that Austin is the first house guest to not wear shoes in an eviction is ridiculous. You want to see my shoe rant? Watch last night's review. You guys can check that out. But seriously, it's just no class whatsoever. It's very, very unprofessional, and especially when you're playing a game and you're on TV. I understand Austin wanted TV time, but since he thinks he's well liked by a lot of America, you think he'd put the effort in. I understand, again, it was a surprise eviction, but they had time. They had time to quickly change or dress up or something, but he really put no effort into that at all, and that's why he left. So Austin left, obviously, and yeah, so we see the jury, and I thought that was definitely pretty interesting. Now, we see that Shelly and all of them are really starting to think more about Vanessa, and Austin is definitely going to try to start a campaign against Vanessa so she doesn't win, and I really don't think this is going to work, mainly because I don't really feel a lot of the house guests like Austin that much. I think, they'll definitely go with James's word over, say, Austin's word, definitely. Shelly seems like she's really into the game as well. Like, she seems like she really knows what she's doing, and I'm very interested in seeing how the jury votes. It honestly could be a pretty split vote for the jury. I see a lot of different scenarios happening here. The jury usually votes together, but I think everyone's so split at this point that I honestly could see the jury doing a bunch of different things. I'm interested in seeing how that's going to play out. So then we see Brennan and Rachel, who, as we know, they did have an announcement, and I predicted that Rachel's pregnant, which I'm very happy about. I figured that's what it was going to be. I mean, what other announcement could they have made that already got married? We knew that they were trying for babies. If you've seen her interviews, you know that she said that they've been trying, and finally, Rachel's pregnant. That very happy for them, and I will say I don't agree with Rachel that Austin and Liz will make it. They will make it past Halloween. That's how long they're going to make it. Past Halloween, that's really it. I don't see it making them past Halloween. After Halloween, they're going to be done. I don't see this lasting very long. Especially because Liz is so flirty, and that's shown very well when we get to the POV with Caleb, which was awesome to see Beast Mode Cowboy again. And again, Beast Mode Cowboy was not a very good player. He wasn't a good player at all, really. He wasn't a very good player. He didn't really understand the game. He didn't really understand what was going on in the house last season. He thought he was allied with all these people, and he really wasn't, and they were just keeping him around. Caleb, it was fun to see him, though. It was fun to see him again, but Liz flirting with him, she flirts with every guy she sees. Seriously, any Big Brother player we've seen her flirt with. We saw her flirt with Jesse. We've seen her flirt with even the Zing bot she was sort of flirting with. And now she flirts with Beast Mode Cowboy, or Beast Mode Ninja, whatever you want to call him. It was cool to see him again. Basically, the veto was pretty simple. It was basically pick, the day that this certain event happened. I don't think they've actually done something like that before, so I think that was pretty cool. I will say the only thing I didn't like about this competition is that some of the questions led back to, like, a few days ago. I think they all should have been very hard questions, like, say, days, like, months ago, like, back in July or something. That could have been very compelling. Some of them were back in July, but then some of them were, like, a few days ago, and I felt like maybe they should have given them a bit more, a bit more of a struggle. But Vanessa ends up taking POV, obviously plans on taking herself off the block, and Johnny Mac knows this is not a good situation. But Vanessa really is in a tough position here, because you got Johnny Mac, who I think would probably beat Vanessa if he was in the final two. And then you have Liz, who also has a very good chance of beating Vanessa, but also I think would take Vanessa to the final two, while Johnny Mac I don't think would. I think Johnny Mac in a heartbeat would take Steve over Vanessa. That's really how it went down. So I was very interested in seeing what was going to happen here. Vanessa really had a tough decision. I know I said throughout the season, this is a tough decision. This really was a tough decision, though. I mean, it really didn't seem like something that was going to be easy. And it wasn't easy, because, of course, Vanessa really had this hard decision here, and she goes on this long speech. I did not even understand what Johnny Mac or Liz was saying. I really didn't. Steve thinks that Johnny Mac is now, he's now some sort of twist. I don't know where he got that from, but whatever, he's paranoid. Steve has had a meltdown before Power Veto. He was like crying for his mother. It was so stupid and so immature, and it's just, Steve, is he a good player? No, he's just not that good of a player. He's there that they've kept him around for so long. They felt so bad for him. He's been so pathetic that I feel like that's why they've kept him around. He's just a very pathetic player, in my opinion. I mean, man up, seriously. Don't be a Vanessa that cries over everything, especially because you're a man. Just man up. I know it's hard, but just man up and don't be pathetic because you're looking like a loser on TV. It's that simple. I really don't. I saw someone say they want to vote for Steve. Fine, but he's just weird. He's weird, and he's not the kind of person that I would hang out with. Johnny Mac, however, is definitely someone that I would hang out with. And I think when it comes to America's Favorite House Guests, that's really what you have to think is, who would I hang out with? Who would I be friends with in this house? Johnny Mac, without a doubt, I would be friends with. James as well. They'd be like my two best friends in the house, definitely. Johnny Mac and James. We'd be tight. We would definitely be tight. I mean, definitely. The three of us would be tight, and I don't know what our alliance name would be, but we definitely would be pretty tight. So, America's Favorite, I'm definitely rooting for Johnny Mac, James, even Meg. Meg I'd be fine with, too. Even Jason. I mean, Jason is definitely one of my favorite house guests of the season. He got evicted week 5, which really sucked, but I really felt, had things played out differently, he probably could have gone a lot farther, but whatever. This is not about Jason. This is about the decision that Vanessa makes. ultimately, I think this was smart of Vanessa to get rid of Johnny Mac because obviously Liz was allied with her. Liz was probably going to stay close to her, while Johnny Mac's thing with Vanessa wasn't real. And I like that she knew that. You know, she said that she can't trust him because she doesn't know if what he's saying to her is real or not, if he really would take her. And I think that was very smart of her to do. She was in a very tough position, but I think she made a very smart decision there. And Johnny Mac, that's how you go out. You go out with class. He dressed up. You could tell he knew he was getting evicted. And I really liked what he said, that, you know, he had fun in the house. He did make some irrational decisions. But overall, he had a great time. It was a great experience. And Mac Attack for the win. That's what I'm thinking. Mac Attack for the win, please. I'd love to see Johnny Mac win, and he really is a rock star, really. Everyone says it, but he's a rock star, and I can't wait to see what happens. So now we got the final three. We have Vanessa, Steve, and Liz, which is never what I thought the final three would be. If you would have told me that Steve was in the final three, I would have thought you were an idiot, because I never thought Steve would have gone this far. But honestly, the way that things played out, I'm fine with. I do wish some things maybe would have played out a bit differently. Like, if Johnny Mac would have won HOH, that could have been very interesting. Now, of course, we can't see that, but I do feel that Johnny Mac, now being in the jury, has kind of, maybe he's going to go with Austin against his anti-Vanessa, because I really feel the jury, if Austin can do this, and especially with Johnny Mac, they might be able to turn the jury against Vanessa. There are ways that they can do that. And honestly, as much as I want Vanessa to win this game, I don't want her to win the game at the same time. I think she's good strategically, but she overthinks way too much. She's paranoid every 5 seconds. Same with Steve. Liz, honestly, ironically, is probably the best option right here because she's a physical beast. She's done very well. She played a very clean game. She was never targeted, really. She had the twin twist, but she was never really targeted until now, and I think Liz would be a good person to win. So honestly, Liz or Vanessa, I'd be fine with. Steve, whatever, but I'd be really, really pissed off if Steve won. I don't really feel Steve has played a very good game. I don't think he's played much of a game, and I really think it would be a very, very, it'd feel like a waste of a season if Steve won. Like, I want the winner to be like, okay, that was a great season. I don't want this to be a Big Brother 15 where Andy wins. Look, Andy Herron was an okay player, but he was very much like Steve. I mean, he thinks he's a lot better than he is. He really hasn't done much, and then he wins. I would not like to see that happen for Steve. And Johnny Mac said that he sees the final two being Steve and Vanessa. I could see that. I could definitely see that happening, especially because I feel like Liz is in a very vulnerable position right now. And honestly, I don't feel bad for Liz, but she definitely is in the most vulnerable position out of everyone because she has really no allies left except for Vanessa. And if Vanessa wins HOH, you can guarantee that Liz will be in that final two with her, because I'm pretty sure that Vanessa thinks that Steve will beat her, which he probably will, knowing the jury. But honestly, I feel either way, Vanessa's kind of screwed right now, because you got Austin, who wants to turn the jury against Vanessa. Now you have Johnny Mac, who wants to turn the jury against Vanessa. I really feel between these two, this might actually work, and that could be a very interesting scenario to see what ends up happening there. That definitely, I'm very interested in seeing if they can actually do this. They can actually turn the jury against Vanessa, and this could ruin Vanessa's chances of winning this game. So we'll have to see what happens with that. It's going to be a very interesting finale. I'm very, very interested in seeing what's going to happen in the finale. Then, of course, obviously I won't be reviewing Sunday's episode because it's just a highlights episode. There's really nothing to say. Oh, it's cool to see these clips. It's cool to see these clip shows. But there's really not much to say about it. Finale night, though, definitely I will be watching it. I'll be reviewing it for you guys. And I'm very interested in seeing what the outcome's going to be here because there's a lot of things that could happen. Who knows what's going to happen? I mean, really anything can happen at this point. I think it honestly is anybody's game. So we'll have to see what happens there. But that's going to be very interesting to see. I think in other seasons I've been like, oh, Derek is definitely the winner here. Big Brother 15, I didn't care. But, like, Big Brother 14, definitely Ian or Dan, they're the winner here. Big Brother 13, oh, definitely Rachel or Portia, they're the winner here. Here, I think all three of them have a very good chance of winning. Vanessa probably is the least likely at this point, though, because I just feel the jury will pick someone else over her because they just like them more. I think that really is what it comes down to. Liz, I feel, has a really good chance of winning over Vanessa, and Steve does too. Liz, like I said, I think is probably the most likely to win. Honestly, I'd like to see that happen. I think she's played a very good game. I don't really like Liz. I don't like her as a person, but if she won, I think I'd be pretty satisfied if that happened. But overall, guys, that's it for my review. Let me know what you guys saw this episode. What do you guys gonna think is gonna happen in the finale? I can't wait for the finale. I'm hyped up for it. Who knows what's gonna happen now? I can't believe we're already down to the final 3. This season has just flew by. I mean, other seasons of Big Brother, it's been like, this felt like 10 hours. Like, it felt like 10 years. Like, Big Brother 16 felt like a millennium. Big Brother 15 felt like 100 years. Like, they just went on way too long. This went by really quickly for me, and I don't know if it's just that I've been more into it, but it's felt like it's gone by a lot faster, and it's gone by the same amount of time that Big Brother 16 did, but I've just been more into this season, and I'm very interested in seeing who's going to take that final win. We'll have to see what happens there. I think we're in for a very, very interesting finale. We'll have to see what happens, but that's basically my review. And let me know what you guys thought of this episode, and I will see you guys for the finale, which I am hyped for. I really can't wait to see what happens. But I will see you guys in my next video, which will be for another movie review, and I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.